Welcome to the Beyond the Bucket Show, a podcast centered around optimizing all life's buckets. We all have buckets we are balancing: coaching, entrepreneurial ventures, family, passion projects, and health. Let's all take this journey together and become bucket fillers. And here's your host, Chris McSwain.
Welcome back, y'all, to Beyond the Buckets. Man, it's been a long time since we last touched base with everybody, and I just want to say thank you for anybody that has reached out, anybody that has continued to subscribe to this podcast, because it's been a few months since we last got down, and that was intentional. I think that sometimes you just need built-in breaks, and I'm glad actually that there was a built-in break with our high school basketball season that allowed me to really focus in on that, as well as my family and just separating some of this stuff, because I love doing this podcast, but I also understand that it takes a lot of time, energy, and effort. And so I want to make sure that if I do anything, I am all in with regard to how I approach and attack everything. So that was a small break that we needed, but you are going to see some really great content, some fantastic podcast guests, some solo pods, which will be a solo pod today, and just kind of get back into the flow of things. But yeah, I felt like this was the day to drop a podcast. The Monday after California high school basketball had just finished was a perfect timing for us to drop the podcast. I watched the state championship games last night and Friday. It was bittersweet because there were some teams that we played that were playing this weekend, and there were some teams that we knew of or our friends that were playing in these games. So it's kind of bittersweet when the season ends. But overall, like, I got no regrets. And I'm happy that I finished my 12th season as a varsity head coach. And for a lot of coaches out there, I know it's kind of like a weird feeling, even for players or parents or spouses, because when you're in a high school basketball season and the amount of time that you spend on that sport or working towards this goal that you may or may not get, it is a daunting task. And our season was 199 days. You see, we started in August 19th to be exact, which I believe is probably our first day of school this year. And we start with strength and conditioning, getting out there on the track, working out in our performance center. And that is a long season. We spent 29 weeks getting prepared and doing all the things that we do for basketball. And we ended our season first week in March in the North Cal playoff game, which was actually a phenomenal atmosphere. We played in front of 3,500 plus people in a packed gym on the road, and it was just a great basketball atmosphere, high energy, high level play on both sides. And we came up a little bit short, but I got no regrets on this season. But I just kind of wanted to chat with you guys about the growth and the learning opportunities that you have throughout a season. And there's three parts to a season. You got the preseason preparation, then you got the regular season, then you got the postseason. And those three things are all going to come to a head at some point, and you're just trying to do everything you possibly can to prepare yourself, prepare your team as well as you can. And ultimately, especially in the state of California, there's only going to be 6 teams that win their last playoff game. 6 teams, Division 1 through Division 6. And a lot of people have goals that were not reached because everybody wanted to win a state championship if you get into the state tournament. But that doesn't mean that your season was a failure. I think there were so many growth opportunities that I learned about myself. I learned about my team. I learned about my assistant coaches and just handling different situations. There's never been one year that has been like exactly the same. Every single year has just been so different and so exciting and so challenging, and you just continue to learn and build on your craft. And I think that's one of the things that I really love about basketball. The other thing that I love is the fact that you can work really, really hard and it doesn't guarantee you anything. But if you work really, really hard, you can get better. And so that's my biggest thing is always try to learn and get better from the things that you are trying to accomplish. And it's not going to guarantee a result by any stretch of the imagination, but it will guarantee that you get better. So that's one of my biggest takeaways. And I try to reiterate that with my own philosophies, as well as try to reiterate with the group and the team. I traveled so much this year. It felt like we were always on the road. Our league stretches from San Jose all the way to San Francisco, and we had to make 5 trips up to San Francisco. We went to Fresno for a tournament. We went to Jackson, California for a tournament. Not to mention all the summer stuff that you do, going down to the big tournament down there at Ladera Ranch. There's just so much stuff that goes on. And it's not just for basketball coaches, it's for the parents as well. The parents are involved in all this stuff. And the players, like that last bus trip when we went all the way to Atwater, it was like, man, I'm just so tired. But we were trying our best to make sure that we tried to get to day 200, because when you put so much time, energy, and effort, you're putting, 2/3 of a year into something, you want to see it all the way through. But when you look back on it, you never want to question, what you put in, because you can still gain a lot from that sort of stuff. When you look back on any season, one of the biggest takeaways that people are going to have when you go through this experience are the bonds that you have with the people that you did it with. I know for me personally, spending time with the coaching staff at dinners, the countless numbers of text messages and emails that were going back and forth with, trying to get the team just a little bit better. The interactions with the players, just trying to find out what's going to motivate them today. As a coach, you go in with this mindset of, I got to try to get the best out of them every single day. And what is this going to be? What is it going to be today that motivates them to want to get up? Because after a long season, which was 199 days, you're talking about 2 scrimmages, 27 games. You're talking about 20 plus shoot arounds. You're talking about travel all over, Northern California. And all this time, energy, and effort spent, people get tired. And guess what? Even the coaches get tired too, which is something that we don't want to talk about, but we get tired. And we have to wake up and we have to motivate ourselves so we can motivate other people. And, that's what I love about it. I love those type of challenges when it comes to what's going to motivate your team on a day in and day out basis. And sometimes you got to have the people around you to kind of help you stay motivated. Your assistant coaches, your spouse, your kids. It's just really a lot, but so rewarding and so fulfilling at the end of the day. And, quiet as kept, there's a lot of good, but there's also a lot of bad opportunities that present themselves throughout the year too, where you are trying to figure certain situations out. And you might not have the answers at that very moment, but You try to do your best in all scenarios. You try to be honest with people, and you try to hear where everybody's coming from too, because when you have a basketball team, you've got usually 12 to 15 players on that basketball team. And you, as the head coach, have a vantage point of trying to do what's best for everybody. But not everybody has that same viewpoint. And so you want to be able to see your players' side of things, try to get them to understand, like, this is the best thing for the team. Or a parent who might not have seen their player get into the game as much as possible, and then you have to have tough and difficult conversations with them, talking about the most important thing to them, which is their child. So I just think that it's something that's very difficult, but I wouldn't change it for the world. And I know that when you're in these positions, you want to try to handle it with as much care as you possibly can. And if people know who you are in your heart, I think that's really all you can and try to get out there into the world. So we're going to be talking about a lot of this stuff with the coaches that we have come on this podcast. And I really want to dive deeper into certain situations, because you might look at a certain coach or a certain program and really not know some of the challenges that they have, and really dissecting some of these things on the podcast, getting to know more officials. I've seen a lot of games this year, and I've seen a lot of officials, and the officials get treated unfairly a lot. And it's something that they need to have their voice out there even more, because this game that we all love is dependent on having good people adjudicating the rules the proper way, and having significant others and spouses on the show to try to talk about what it's like to be with a coach. It's not easy. So those are a lot of the things that we're going to talk about, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. I'm really excited to jump into this next phase of the podcast. I'm more motivated than ever. I got a little bit more time to dedicate to this because the season is over. But just because the season is over doesn't mean that we're not going to still learn and grow and get better. And so if there's anything or any guest that you think should be on this show, please reach out to me. You can DM me at any of the social media taglines below, whether that be on X, whether that be on Instagram, LinkedIn, or you can just type into the YouTube. And I'm happy to hear from you guys, because I want this show to continue to grow. We've done a great job over the last 4 years, and I just can't wait to continue all the great things that we're doing and pushing with this show. So appreciate you. And I will see you every Monday from here on out. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Beyond the Buckets podcast. Please remember to subscribe, rate, and share the show with your friends. And until next time, take care.